Hey guys, Crypto Sunday and Red Week again, going into Christmas, down about 5,000 for the week. Nothing too bad. I mean, I was sort of here a few weeks ago, albeit I have sort of deposited a bit in the last month. But yeah, there's a bit of news. People worried about Binance. He did sort of an interview on Yahoo Finance, which was a little bit odd, sort of saying that they don't owe anybody any money, but people were sort of asking him about what would happen with withdrawals, and he sort of said we'd let the lawyers handle it. And yeah, it's just, I guess, putting him on the spot a little bit. He might sort of come out with some strange answers, but didn't sound all that good. And the company that were doing the proof of reserves have halted basically all crypto exchange work, sort of not wanting to harm their reputation, I guess. A lot of people have sort of been saying that these are a proof of reserves only and not an audit. Some of these companies may sort of owe other companies money, various other liabilities, so it's not a full sort of audit. It's not even really an audit of the assets, I guess, as a regulated exchange would. Sort of US regulated exchange, they generally get the big four accounting firms and sort of do a proper audit. But yeah, I guess that's sort of causing a little bit of issues. About sort of 80% of volume is still Binance, I believe. So yeah, that's not the best. People are still, for some reason, wanting to go leveraged. So we had a bit of a move, and there was 117 million leveraged liquidations. You had the interest rate rise and the sort of CPI reports during the week, and yeah, that sort of caused a bit of volatility as always, up and down. So yeah, I don't know why people sort of really want to go on leverage all the time. You can sort of, go long and lose all your money even when things go up just because of one spike downwards. And yeah, it's just not for me. We've had a hell of a lot of hate on the miners. Hedge funds are taking greater and greater short positions. Some of these are sort of, I believe, further towards the brink of bankruptcy than others. Marathon Digital is sort of, I think, pretty much the largest miner, so not sure they would be sort of going bust straight away, but yeah, people just maybe betting this going to go down rather than go bust. Yeah, 36% of the outstanding shares on them are short now, so that's unusual. And you've had various other companies sort of getting shorted. Greenridge Generation, Hut 8 Mining, Riot Blockchain, all sort of going up. Stronghold Digital is also got 10% short. So it's interesting. I think some of these miners who can sort of weather the storm should do really well. And sort of obviously coming out of, if we do come out of the bear market sometime sort of early next year, and they're still alive, then obviously you could have a potential short squeeze, or the hedge funds may sort of just quietly close those short positions slowly and sort of not affect the price too much. But yeah, it's worth sort of thinking about. That's my taking a little bit of sort of gamble at the moment, buying long dated call options. So I've sort of gone for Hut 8 Mining for January 2025. So betting the price is going to be sort of basically $1, $1.50, or sort of $2 at that time. So that's sort of 6 or 7 months after the halving. I think, for their share price to double, it's basically sort of hoping Bitcoin goes up to about $30,000 maybe, sort of by January 2025, so over 2 years away. I think we're going to see a reasonable bull run before then. So taking a bit of a gamble on the miners. You've had another exchange say that they're owed an awful lot of money by digital currency group, Bitvarvo, 280 million euros. I think this is Genesis Global Capital, rather than sort of they're saying digital currency group, and trying to sort of link everything together. I think they are sort of pretty adamant that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is a separate entity and basically can't be touched. But a lot of people sort of thinking that will get hauled into it and 600,000 Bitcoin is going to get sold. But yeah, at the moment you're sort of getting, not sure why they sort of waited until now to say that they're owed, $300 million. But yeah, they're saying they're trying to recover that. And it's another bare point about Genesis. That could be the sort of last shoe to drop, and have one last drop. But it would be a big drop, presumably, if they go, especially if the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust sort of goes into it as well. 600,000 Bitcoin is an awful lot to be sold. We could be going into under 10,000 quite easily. Speaking of which, the reporter Matthew Siegel, head of digital assets research at VanEck, has some hot takes on crypto. So he's saying a lot of miners will go bankrupt. I guess that's not really a hot take. They are some of them are already going bankrupt. They own the VanEck digital assets mining ETF. They run the ETF, I guess. They don't own it. And we've already seen sort of Argo Blockchain, Core Scientific file for, or close to filing for bankruptcy. They think the SEC are going to win against Ripple, which is quite interesting. The only sort of real tidbit he gives at the moment is the SEC's sort of successful case against Library token, which, from what I understand, was a sort of much more smaller project and a sort of watertight case, I guess, for the SEC. Everything I've sort of been reading was that Ripple are sort of quite ahead in this case and quite likely to sort of secure a victory, or at least a settlement. Yeah, a little bit strange just to sort of cite Library and say Ripple are going to lose. He also thinks Gary Gensler, the chairman of the SEC, is going to probably step down. Not going to get sacked, I guess, but step down. He was sort of quoting with Sam Bankman-Fried of an FTX, and sort of people saying he should have known. Should have been sort of regulating this, going after, small things such as Library and letting FTX sort of get as big as it was, and not sort of regulating that or finding anything out has sort of done a lot of harm to the public. So he could be out. That's these thoughts. And a few others. Financial institutions will tokenize 10 billion in off-chain assets. So this is something that a lot of people think could be coming in the future, tokenization of existing things. Brazil emerging as a crypto-friendly country, one of the most. I think they sort of have currency issues sort of tied to fighting the US dollar, so that's a potential. Twitter bolstering its payment offerings with state money licenses. Not really sure you can make any sort of predictions about Twitter at the moment, but yeah, that's an unusual one. And a new decentralized stablecoin will reach $1 billion in market cap. So a decentralized stablecoin rather than your Tethers and USDC. Interesting. I suppose $1 billion isn't really that much. The Tether and sort of USDC are well into the tens of billions. I think Tether is still 60 billion. So 1 billion would be nice to have, but yeah, not too big. But yeah, interesting sort of interesting hot takes. Some of them not all really that hot, but yeah, see what you think. And just looking at the tokens for the week, it's largely altcoins that have dropped. Bitcoin down 1.6%, nothing too much, but Ethereum down 6%, Cardano down 14%, not really seen too much to drop that particularly, but that's down. Solana, not quite as bad, 7.8%, so nearly under £10. Chainlink, 12.5%, not doing too well. Polygon, 9.5%, so this is one that I'm sort of looking to possibly sell in a couple of weeks as part of my tax loss harvesting event. XRP down 8%, Quant down 8%, Gala down 20%. Now, this has sort of done quite poorly since I bought it. I only bought it sort of about a month ago, and it's already down nearly 25%. So the tokenomics, I believe, the sort of inflation and how much they're sort of constantly selling does sort of hinder the project, but I still think they've got quite a bit going for them. So I will have a bit of a dive into sort of recent news and see what's happening as to whether I want to continue to add. Audius 15% down, not doing too well, but I guess it gets hit with Solana. And basic attention token 15% as well. Power Ledger down 12%. Power Ledger is one that I've sort of left alone for quite a long while. It is sort of well in the green still because I invested in sort of 2019. But yeah, I do sort of see them doing quite a lot. The sort of founder, Dr. Gemma Green, sort of seems to put herself out there quite a bit, attending lots of conferences and that sort of thing. And yeah, I think the sort of green energy could be a nice green energy play. I'm sort of keen on that in the stock side going forward. So yeah, maybe sort of add a little bit to that on the next ad. So yeah, that's another red week with sort of a fair bit of news to go with it, but nothing that sort of concerns me all that much, to be honest. This is sort of talking about the past, really, a lot of this. I think unless Genesis and Digital Currency Group does go bust, then I think sort of a lot of the selling has already been done, and this is just negative news. So yeah, let me know how your portfolio's doing, and if you're adding anything, and like and subscribe. See you soon.